everyone, my name is AJ, and I don't have a good intro. Today I'm going to be redesigning Leviathan from HeckuvaBoss. Sorry if my voice is a little strange, I'm a little bit sick, don't worry about it. Let's not waste any time, let's just get into it. Leviathan is the sin of envy, both within biblical lore and HeckuvaBoss. She made her debut in Mastermind, didn't have any speaking roles, she was just kind of there. This is what she looks like, and I don't like her design. I do not like her design at all. This is the first of Ivzy Pop's designs that I just absolutely despise. I hate this so much that it's not even funny. She looks like a background character and is giving absolutely nothing. I know that, now that I'm thinking about it, I have gone pretty hard on some other designs. I remember that I got really angry about Abel's design, but like that was more like it was more that I didn't like that design for that character rather than like not liking the design itself. The design itself was fine. This design though, I don't like this design for any character, let alone Leviathan of all people. Oh my goodness. She looks like a background character. It gives us absolutely nothing. There's nothing about either of the two heads that matches in the slightest, except for the eyelashes and colors, almost. The bend in the monster head neck makes it look very broken and awkward. The very modern-looking shirt looks like that of a background character. It's so boring. And the pearls around their neck and on the little head's ears look super out of place because it doesn't match with the modern aesthetic that was set by the shirt. It's terrible. It's horrible. Leviathan also doesn't do anything except look pretty while Mammon is flirting with her. Oh, what a coincidence. Another supposedly asexual character who's about to be shoved into a relationship. I'll save my thoughts for that when I eventually get to Mammon's video. Just let it be known for now that I don't like this. So, since HeckuvaBoss shares a universe with Hasbin Hotel, my AU HeckuvaBoss will do the same. And for my AU, I've decided that all of the sins are Lucifer's children. I decided that forever ago, I'm running with it. So, to design these bad boys, I will actually be designing their mothers before I design them. That way, I don't have to work backwards to design both parents. That's how I did it for Charlie. It makes sense to do it the same way for all of them. Leviathan is described as being a dragon, specifically a serpent, often with multiple heads. She's also said to eat the souls of the damned and is sometimes depicted in Christian art as the mouth of hell itself. You know what, that sounds pretty similar to Charybdis. Charybdis is a monster from Greek mythology trapped at the bottom of the sea, and arrows fly from Scylla. Scylla, I don't know what it is. We're going with Scylla. A few times every day, she swallows a huge amount of seawater, creating a near inescapable whirlpool. Sometimes, though, she's the whirlpool itself. She's most famous for her appearance in the Odyssey. Oh my god, Epic the Musical mentioned! Oh my god, put it in the tags in the thumbnail, musical, cause you and I are defying gravity. When does a man become a monster? Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves! I can't wait to hear what that sounds like in the recording. I haven't seen it. Anyway, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to put Leviathan's extra heads on the tips of some tentacles, and the devil doesn't have any tentacles, so I had to give tentacles to Charybdis. So my first plan was to make Charybdis either the same species or a cousin species to the Kraken, which meant big cephalopod, but I just really didn't want... I just wasn't super into the giant squid with no changes, so I scrapped that idea. I made a quick sketch of what I thought Charybdis would look like from the side, and then I finally had an idea and created the final. This time, I based her off of a bobbit worm. These worms can get up to 10 feet long, and they make their homes in tunnels at the bottom of bodies of ocean water. They're ambush predators, so what they do is they hide in the sand until something gets too close, and then they strike with scary speed. Sometimes they find their ways into private aquariums and wreak havoc, and sometimes they're put into private aquariums on purpose. I don't understand why anyone would do that, but it does happen. They usually come in tan, brown, or black, but they can be any color of the rainbow, including rainbow. This animal is so gross already that the only change I needed to make was to the size. On top of that, though, I still wanted tentacles, so I gave it little tentacles and spikes running down its sides so that it can swim if it so desires. Then I made it purple, cause envy is purple. I did not actually follow real bobbit worm patterning for its colors, I just didn't feel like doing all that work, so what I did instead was I did the usual sea creature coloration where it's lighter on the bottom and darker on the top to make it practically invisible in the water from when it's viewed from practically any direction. Because when you're looking up and when you're looking up from the bottom of the ocean, it looks lighter up there, and when you're looking down into the ocean, it looks darker. And when you look from the side, you're going to see like a gradient of light to dark. So, yeah, it breaks up the silhouette. That's what that patterning does. I did make its tentacles and some of the spikes bioluminescent, though. She can turn them on and off as she wishes so that she can attract the predators of smaller animals. That's what she's doing when she's not trying to eat boats. And there she is, the mother. Now that we have both mother and father, I can start on the actual design. I had a very specific idea in mind that was inspired by this picture of Sela, whatever it is. I started with a simple shape that kind of looks like a sheet on top of a person with a little mask on top of that sheet. I had some issues with the perspective, so I did decide to draw her from a side view. I made some concept art later of her facing forward. I gave her 3 antennae popping out of her head, just like her mother, with the same tentacle jaw things on the sides of her head. Instead of 2, though, she gets 4. Her arms are draped in a ton of fabric, and she doesn't use them very often. She's a fancy lady, so she has servants to act as her hands for her, or uses her tentacles if she absolutely must. Unless, that is, if she's being dramatic. Leviathan's mask is not like a real mask that would go on top of a face. Leviathan doesn't have a human face, or anything even approaching a human face, which makes her very upset. Her ring has a large population of sirens and sea nymphs and other monsters from other mythology and whatnot, like yokai and whatnot, that appear human or are similar to humans, so something like that. Like I was actually studying today. There's this one yokai that like it guards bridges, and it looks like a pretty lady. So she's jealous of any even halfway decent looking humanoid anything, so she can't actually see through that mask because she's got no eyes there, and also her hands aren't hands, they're tentacles stuffed inside of gloves. The mask is enchanted though, so she can still make expressions. Leviathan deeply wants to be human just like her dad, but she just can't, and you know, she's a vain individual. She wants to be pretty, and she also can't do that. She certainly tries, and she makes a very decent effort, but she'll never be pretty. So, in order for her to see, one of her heads has to be facing forward at all times. I decided to lean heavily into her father's side for these extra heads. I want to make them look like each one of his individual heads instead of what they're like when they're all clumped together like this, so each one has 1 eye and 1 horn. I gave them a little mane at first, but I decided to take that off last minute and change that out for the tentacles and the spikes that come from her mother, because, you know, fur and water doesn't mix super well, and the envy ring, it's entirely ocean. It's all water. It's water from the ceiling to the floor, all completely water, no air pockets. So Leviathan and, frankly, most of the animals and demons that live there need to be, you know, streamlined so that way they can, like, survive. I also put tentacles in place of the wing shards that are on Lucifer. Leviathan does have wing shards, but they are on her back underneath her cloak, just one set, so we don't see those. I didn't draw them. Colors were a struggle. I find purple to be a fairly difficult color to work with because if it's too red, it looks like pink, and if it's too blue, it looks like just blue, and if it's too purple, then it looks like a highlighter. I started with a dark bluish purple that I color picked off of HeckuvaBoss's Leviathan to be the main color with green accents, but it was too blue. It just looked plain old blue, so I had to change it. I also went too hard on the green. There's this saying that goes green with envy, but the envy ring is purple. It's very purple themed. That's what the color of envy is. I think envy and greed often overlap though, so I think incorporating green into the palette absolutely works. I'm thinking the green here could also represent envy that's specifically about material possessions. But I went too hard on it, so I did have to change it. I also changed the base color to something that actually resembles purple. I made the cloak black with a purple ombre starting at the feet, or at least where the feet would be anyway. It did have the unintended consequence of making her butt look real fat, but that's okay, it's fine. It's fine. I decided to use the green as a very small color in just the pupils of the eyes. That also kind of symbolizes that everything she sees is something she wants but can't have. I got rid of the fur. Finally, for the finishing touches, I got rid of the fur just like I said I would, and then I made her look all sticky and gross, and she was all done. So what am I going to do with Leviathan? To be honest, I have no idea. In HeckuvaBoss, Leviathan has done absolutely nothing and really feels like a last-minute inclusion. We should have met her before the Mastermind episode so that we knew anything about her, because seeing her for the first time in the Mastermind episode, especially when there were so many other background characters in that episode, she really felt, like a background character. The only thing we know, she really was just completely unimpressive, and that's not something you want. About the sin of envy. The sins are supposed to be, important, and be intimidating, and, they're supposed to be important! The only thing we know about her is that her two heads have different personalities, which, pretty classic, it's whatever. Other than that, though, she's entirely defined by Mammon being into her, and I can't really use that plotline, because in my AU, she and Mammon are siblings. And yes, it's hell, and yes, it's medieval times. Just so you know, I did decide to actually change HeckuvaBoss to be set in medieval times. I did that off camera. We'll talk more about it some other time. So hell plus medieval times plus Leviathan Mammon are both royalty, and it would be very normal of them to, keep it in the family, but also I don't want to write that. I don't want to write a character that's entirely defined by their incestuous relationship with their older or maybe younger brother. It doesn't matter. One of them was in diapers when they met. I just haven't decided who. I just haven't decided the order yet. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So for now, she doesn't have much to do except be very cool, and also my favorite character right now. I want to do something cool with her. I have scenes in my brain, I have images in my brain that are very cool, but I just don't have a way to use any of them right now. I'm not going to do her demon form for her right now either. My tablet actually broke and I have to send it back, so that's annoying. I also don't want to do that right now, just anyway. It'll be in a different video. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Fan art! This fan art is cool. Behold it in all of its glory. Also merchandise. Right now we've got the meme collection available for purchase. Sometimes we add to the meme collection whenever I find something that I think is funny, and sometimes we don't. And we've also got more being worked on that should be available soon. I'm just not sure when. I have a Patreon, I take commissions, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next week in a super cool video about the Minecraft movie, assuming that I get that done on time. Bye-bye!